find them directly online at the number one website for real estate in the state of New Mexico. That, of course, is welcomehomeabq.com. Welcomehomeabq.com. Look at this beautiful couple. We got Tracy in the Santa hat, and of course we've got Tego looking as dashing as ever. There's Dasher and Dancer and Comet and Vixen, and then Tego and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen, and then you were right there on the old snow on the snowmobile, huh?
Tego's my Cupid.
I'm the 13th.
13th reindeer?
I'm the 13th reindeer. Is that what it is?
I thought that was Rudolph.
I don't know how many reindeer there are.
I don't know.
12 tiny reindeer.
The most famous one of all is that is for sure. So we've got a sans topic, so I know we're going to get into all the stuff that has everything to do with, of course, Tego and Tracy and the real estate viewpoints on everything as we head into the very last week of a very, very good real estate year. Tego, Tracy, take it away.
Well, record real estate year in so many ways, right, Tracy?
Tego, you always do those end of year wraps. I can't wait till January to hear them. But yes, records in many, many categories. Yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, in the Albuquerque area here. And hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. And if you're joining us on Christmas morning, gosh, I can't imagine, but I hope you're having a great. I hope you're having a great Christmas. But maybe you're watching this on the replay on YouTube or somewhere else. So,
and if it's Christmas morning and you need a house or you need to sell a house, just give us a ring.
There you go.
448-8888.
I remember a few years ago.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, Tracy was out showing houses, and we had
like 14 people at our house for dinner that night, and I was out showing houses, and guess who got everything ready for dinner that day? Yeah,
got her done.
You do that. So, Tego, lots of good topics today. There's a couple things I want to go over, a couple homes we want to feature or properties we want to feature.
So a couple things that, a lot of news this time of year on forecasts. It's just that time of year, right? You get the year-end wrap-up and you get the forecast. In the real estate world, it's no different. I'm seeing a lot of different prognosticators. What's the right word
That's
there?
It.
No, I think I got it. They're prognosticating. No, I didn't say it right that time. Anyway, on what the real estate market's going to do for 2022, and I've got my own opinions on the local market here. We'll talk about that. But Tracy, what do you have for us?
So I have two properties today I really want to talk about. Very exciting. So one of them, many of you might know of or have been to. It's actually a commercial property. Erica Vesely on our team is representing it, and it's in Bernalillo on, main drag through Bernalillo.
Yep.
The old Silva Saloon. So the Silva Saloon is for sale. Now, the Silva Saloon has been operating since the day after Prohibition ended. Go figure. Do you think it wasn't operating before Prohibition ended, Tego?
We'll just say that it wasn't.
Yeah, the fact that it's been operating since opening day of Prohibition's end. But it's the Silva Saloon. It's a very historic place, and it's open still. You can go there from 12 to 7 if you're interested in perhaps considering purchasing the old Silva Saloon. I know I shouldn't call it the old Silva Saloon, but to me it's like old Route 66, the Santa Fe Loop Road. It used to be before I-25 went right through Bernalillo, right? That
Correct.
And Route 66 used to divert up that way as well.
Correct.
So right now it's being offered.
The Camino Real too. I mean, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it on that side of the river? Yeah, it was on that side of the river. Yeah.
So it's physically 955 South Camino del Pueblo in Bernalillo, but most people would recognize the Silva Saloon. It's listed at $995,000. Some of the really cool things about it is it comes with a vacant lot that's across the street. So if you wanted to do special events and things, you could, bring in food trucks or whatever in conjunction with events. But also it comes with a liquor license that is considered one of the premier licenses in the Bernalillo area. and it can be for package and for serving alcohol. So that license is pretty valuable in and of itself. And so the owner says, if you're interested, go by between 12 and 7.
There you go.
Have a cold one, see the facility, and think about all the possibilities. And you can call Erica on our team. Erica is the one representing that property. And just give us a ring at that 505-448-8888 if you want to know more about that property.
That's great, Tracy. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we have a commercial broker on our team now. So if anybody has commercial properties and they need help with, we've got Erica to help out.
Yep, and we also have Santa Fe, Los Alamos covered. So if I know the Eddie's station goes there, so we also can handle that. So Tego, let's talk about the report that came out. So most of you probably know that Zillow is the most used buyer resource website in the world, right? Most buyers are familiar with, most home buyers are familiar with Zillow, and they're online at Zillow searching for homes, right? And they have all the metrics. I mean, they have tons and tons of people viewing properties. But what's cool is they did the most searched places of 2021, and they have different categories. So most searched overall of all types of properties. Interesting. The top one was South Lake Tahoe. So you think about South Lake Tahoe, and it's not too far from Northern California,
Correct.
Silicon Valley. We know what home prices are like in San Francisco and Silicon Valley.
Well, some of the biggest growth in home prices in the last year were Boise, Idaho.
That's not on my story, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, because it's close to that, major metropolitan, major population center in the country.
Right.
And so Boise has seen huge explosion in home prices, as well as Austin, Texas. So these are people that are, leaving California for some of these other markets. And so it does make sense that Lake Tahoe would be on the list, because it's right up there as well for people that are in that Northern California, metro area.
Right. We have some good friends that are realtors in the San Diego, Temecula area. They're number one in Southern California, Lisa and Joran Force. Yep. And they're in South Lake Tahoe for the holidays with their family, renting a place. And they're going, maybe we should buy here. This is pretty darn nice. So hopefully they do, and then we can be invited up, Tego.
So what are some of the other popular cities this year, Tracy? Now, let me just ask, was Albuquerque on the list?
No, they only listed like 3 in each category, and there were only 3 categories, right?
Got it. Okay.
Really quickly, just most popular searched overall city names.
Yep.
Number 2 was Calabasas, California, which is outside of, it's South LA, a lot of really wealthy movie stars and things, Justin Bieber, Drake, Kardashians, Miley Cyrus have residences there. Next one, Malibu, California. So, a lot of Californians looking around making those moves. But then there's the most popular beach towns. And honestly, Tego, 2 of the 3 I've never even heard of. 2 of them are in Oregon. Popular beach towns. You think beach, you don't think of Northwest.
Well, it's beautiful country.
Oh, it is.
If you've
Cannon Beach.
Exactly.
Astoria. So most popular search for beach towns was Newport, Oregon.
Okay.
The next was Naples, Florida. You would have expected Florida to be in there.
Yeah, you would hope.
And number 3 was Lincoln City, Oregon.
That's interesting.
So, most popular retirement towns.
Okay.
So this is one of the categories. La Valette, New Jersey, La Valette. I don't know where that is. It's it says it's under the definition of retirement towns as towns where at least 33% of the population is over the age of 65 with no children in the home.
Interesting.
This is a seaside enclave of La Valette. I've never heard of it, but I guess for people who are drawn to the Jersey Shore, think about New York, New Jersey, and it's the Jersey Shore area. So that was number 1. Number 2 is Dundon, Florida. Dunedin. I don't know how to say that either. It's Florida, but, a lot of retirement.
And these were, again, the retirement communities.
Retirement, yep.
Yep.
And then the last one was St. Pete Beach, Florida. St. Pete's Beach, Peterborough.
Interesting.
So that, iconic pink hotel is there, and those beautiful, pristine beaches. The last category was most popular college towns. Number 1, Tempe, Arizona, where we just sold a house this year.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, it's like, okay, that's something we know very well, and you could say yes, Tempe's a college town, but really it's Metro Phoenix, right? And Metro Phoenix is booming the real estate market.
Totally. Tempe in particular, though, was the search term.
Sure.
And Arizona State University is there, and it's 150,000 people registered. Right. Obviously, we know a lot of those people aren't living in Tempe because they can do online schooling. Next one was Claremont, California.
Yep.
And then Narragansett, Rhode Island. So those were the
college towns.
The college towns.
Yeah.
Vacation towns, I forgot there was one more category. I'll do them really quick.
Okay.
Big Bear, I can tell you want to get to stats, Tego.
No, that's okay.
Big Bear Lake, California.
Mm-hmm. This is interesting.
Lake Arrowhead, California. Holmes Beach, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Northwest of Sarasota. And that's
those
their
were the vacation
categories.
towns. So it's interesting. A lot of California, a lot of
Some
a few
Florida.
But you think about the and again, what this is Zillow's just tracking the overall traffic, the overall searches for certain communities, and so it's not really surprising. A lot of California, a lot of Florida, a lot of Jersey. That's just because that's where the population is.
Right.
It's
okay. I didn't expect to see anything in New Mexico.
No.
Maybe Santa Fe. But
yeah. Well, one of the if I can transition a little bit over to predictions for 2022. Realtor.com came out with their predictions, and there's a lot of stuff out there. Most of the people in the real estate world are predicting 2022 to be a very strong year for real estate, both sales and potential price appreciation, although most people are predicting that home prices won't climb as fast as 2021 and the overall appreciation for the year. It's interesting because Realtor.com breaks it down by market, and they have the Albuquerque metro area with an increase in home sales of about 4%. So that's
the
just
number of sales
units, right? And to put that in perspective, this year we're going to end up about a 5% increase versus 2020, which was a record year as well. So the number of homes selling continues to increase, which is, and that's what they're projecting for next year, which is interesting when you think about the fact that we're at all-time low number of homes on the market.
Right. So what is Realtor.com predicting for the price growth in 2022?
Yeah, they're calling 4.4% growth in prices in Albuquerque Metro for 2020. I'm going to call that low.
So if somebody were looking to buy a home, the sooner in 2022, the better, right? Because we expect house prices. Realtor.com says 4.4%, and you're calling that a low number.
I mean, just when we look at the supply versus demand, right? I put some stuff out on my Facebook page the other day, and a lot of people were asking me questions about it, and it was projections, right? It was national projections from a lot of the different experts, and the question is, okay, well, what's going to change this low supply, high demand, world that we're living in residential real estate right now? And there's just nothing on the horizon that makes you go, okay, that's going to change. Interest rates is the one that a lot of people point to. Okay, if interest rates go up to 4%, well, maybe that'll slow down some of the demand. However, you put that in perspective, if we go up to 4%, and Chris and I talked about this last week, the lender, Chris Krupar, and if we go back up to 4% by the end of 2022, well, we're just back to 2019. Right. It looks high compared to the 3% mortgage rates we've been in for the last year or so. Anyway.
So Tego,
I just don't see anything that's going to make the housing market, air quote, slow down now.
I agree. It's interesting because when I look on this list from Realtor.com of 2022, I see Detroit, which is close to where you grew up.
Yeah.
They say that they're going to sell 6% more homes next year.
Speaking of which, I'm looking forward to New Year's Eve. Got a big football game that I'm an Ann Arbor guy. Grew up in Ann Arbor. Grew up watching the Wolverines.
Grew up sneaking into the Wolverine Stadium.
Grew up sneaking into the big house. Yep, as a kid.
And they're expecting price appreciation in Detroit area up 5.6%, which is interesting. I think they probably were down a lot more.
Well, and I think when you
they had
you
a lot
think
of room to go.
Yeah, exactly. Room to run, and I've been saying that for the Albuquerque area, we had a lot of room to run. But then you look at markets like Austin, where, their prices have gone up, 20+% in a year, and they were already a little pricier market,
Well,
So
and Austin's
what are they calling?
expected to have 4.7% more sales next year than this year, and price appreciation is still going up 3%.
Yeah, that's pretty modest. I mean, I bet they'd be thrilled to see 3% price appreciation. Honestly, I would be
low.
not
higher.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of staying up with inflation, because right now home prices are, of course,
they're
growing
crazy there.
faster than
they got Tesla,
wages
all
Austin's
sorts.
all kinds of stuff going on.
I saw
there.
Detroit because I was looking at Denver, which
Right.
bring it back home, right? So
Yeah.
I was considering what's Denver looking like, because we know we've helped a lot of people that have moved to Denver or from that area, that we've helped them. And Denver is still expected to have huge growth next year, like 6%, and they're still expecting prices to go up 5%. So pretty significant when you look at it. Phoenix, we know what it's done.
Boy.
And they're expecting 7.5% more sales next year than this year.
How about appreciation?
6.8%. So almost 7%. They're expecting prices to continue to rise. I guess we sold the kids' kitty house that they went to college and stayed in a little too soon.
Well, it's interesting. There's I'm looking through this list of all these major metros. I think it's the top 100 metros, because Albuquerque, we don't fall into the top 50. We're somewhere in that top 60, I think. Anyway, there's not one market that they're calling as a negative for 2022. Honolulu,
as far as prices.
Yeah, as far as prices, Honolulu is the only one that's basically they're calling it a balance, equal.
Less sales. Equal sales, not, interesting. So
so it just and of course, as we've learned in the last couple of years, you just kind of never know where things are going to go, and some of these macro things that could happen. But right now, we just have a lot of people that need housing, and we have a shortage of housing, and that's both homes for sale as well as rental units. And let me just make one more comment. No, go ahead. You have a point to make.
I want to jump back to me saying that we sold the house in Tempe too soon, because really I don't believe that.
Oh, okay.
I want to clear that up.
Yeah.
So I said that just flippantly, right? Oh, the prices are still going up. We sold that house too soon. But really, it was just the right time for us, because all of the kids that were our kids' friends that were renting from us were moving on. We would have had to re-rent the house to people we didn't know. And, it was the right time for us, even though prices might go up. We took that money and we've invested it elsewhere. Yeah,
that's a real, that can go down a rabbit hole of conversation about real estate investing. And when you're evaluating your properties that you own as a investor in real estate, you always want to see, okay, what's my return on investment today, not what it was 5 years ago when I bought the property, right? So you're constantly reevaluating that. And in this case, we had a property that appreciated quite a bit, and the amount of rent we could have taken for what that home was worth, the numbers weren't that great any longer.
Didn't make sense anymore for the value of the house.
It made more sense to take that money out,
take it and reinvest it elsewhere.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's so I wanted to clarify that.
No, absolutely. So what was I going to?
I don't know, but I have something else.
Okay, go.
I want to talk about a different property that we have on the market.
Okay, great.
I think it's my job to talk about homes for sale. So we have one in a really special neighborhood. It's the Del Webb neighborhood for 55 plus active adults.
Okay.
Muir Haven.
Yeah.
So Muir Haven is north of I-40 and off of Unser, sort of, kind of in that area, a little bit north. But it's a 55 plus gated active adult. Do you remember being there? I mean, the indoor and outdoor pools
beautiful.
Are phenomenal. The workout room,
Yep.
the extra meeting space. They have shuffleboard. They have a whole
resort
calendar.
living.
Yeah, they have a whole calendar of events. If you want to have a book club, a stock club, or if you want to create your own. And we walk in that facility and go, oh my gosh, we could live here. And what's great about this property, it was built in 2020. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a 2-car garage, 2,511 square feet. I don't know if you remember the Del Webb neighborhood in North, it looks like Rio Rancho, but it's actually Bernalillo. They only had 2-bedroom floor plans in that neighborhood.
Right.
In Muir Haven, they have these 3-bedroom floor plans, 2,500 square foot, single story, no steps. And that neighborhood is sold out. They don't have any new homes anymore to sell in that Del Webb community. This one is $575,000. Owners had it built, moved in, and their circumstances changed. It's very lightly lived in, and practically new, even though it says built in 2020. So if you're interested in knowing more about that Del Webb Muir Haven neighborhood or this particular house, just give us a ring, 505-448-8888, or you can check it out on our website.
Yep, welcomehomeabq.com, and it's the Venturi Realty Group with Keller Williams Realty.
And Addie Sambandam with our team is representing that property. Addie's a really smart guy, and he helps a lot of our clients with home buying, selling, and he does home remodeling for himself. He's bought homes and fixed them up. He knows a lot, and he's got a lot of resources, so we appreciate all he does.
Tracy, a couple of headlines this week I just wanted to hit on because what happens as all of us do, right? We kind of browse the news, right? And we might see real estate stories pop up. Of course, I do. Of course, I've got my radar on for any real estate stories.
Your reticulated activator.
Exactly. I was going to say that, the RAS, but the couple things that came out, there was a bunch of headlines about number of housing starts, meaning new construction, right? How much new construction is a pipeline? It's actually less than people were expecting, and that's really just supply chain issues. Home builders aren't able to build as fast as a lot of people would like them to. Another story that came out, got a lot of play on a lot of different media outlets, was home flipping business. That home flipping business has actually been challenged, really, so people, and so just define the home flipping business.
Somebody buys a house, plans to just resell it, whether it needs fixing up or not.
Correct. And most of
cases,
them
need something.
Yeah, when we think about flipping, generally we're talking about homes that have been, let's just say, less loved than others, need some attention, and the flipper, air quote flipper, adds, fixes up the home and adds value to it and then sells it at a profit. I mean, it's basically that simple.
So think about it, Tego. I didn't see all these headlines like you did, but I see the headline in front of us now. Flipping's more competitive and less profitable. Of course. Think about the supply chain issues.
I could have told you that a year ago.
Think about how much prices have gone up on the supplies, and and the timelines. You can't count on, I'm going to have this back on the market in 30 days. The holding time for a flipper has gotten a lot longer because suddenly you can't get the window you need, or you can't get the cabinet or the counter or the
thing
flooring.
That's interesting, though, when you talk about 10 to 15, maybe 20% just natural appreciation over the last year, it's like, well, you should be more. You just got to wait, right? But
think about how many people call us regularly and they say, I'm an investor and I want to find a house at a good deal. And those good deals, if you can find them, which is rare, right? Because people are willing to pay top dollar, have a lot of competition. So it's still not, you're not going to get rock bottom price.
Yeah, no, it's very challenging, and it does take a lot of work and a lot of education to be good. And there's a lot of people that are very good in that business, do a really good job taking homes that like I said, have not been loved, that need some attention, and bringing them back up to, their former glory or maybe even more. And that's pretty satisfying too. I've done a fair number of those over the years, and it's great to take these homes that have been.
Wait, you're doing two right now, but you're not flipping them, right?
No, but they've been totally trashed out and not taken care of, and bringing them back to something that's a great product for the market. Another interesting story I saw this week, Tracy, had to do with crime data. It started with I think it was Realtor.com. stopped publishing crime data on their home search website. So, you've got all these different home search websites out there, Realtor.com, Trulia, Zillow, those are the big three.
WelcomeHomeABQ.com.
Oh, yeah, locally, WelcomeHomeABQ.com, Homes.com, those are kind of the big national ones, those four. But a lot of them, they try to add features and they try to add, extra
stats.
Yeah, extra content and stuff. And it's interesting. They're all phasing out crime data, which I found interesting. And
what did they say? Did you read the stories or just the headline?
Yeah, so I'm not sure the logic, but I know that like in our realtor community, Tracy, we know that that's one of those areas that you're very hesitant to talk about. Because you don't want to be perceived as steering people to a certain neighbor or not a certain neighborhood. Let them do their own research. There are great resources for that data through the state, or through the city or the county, right?
There is,
and there's good info out there. But it's just interesting. I just found that an interesting thing that they're pulling back on that crime data on their websites as part of the home searches. The other big thing I saw, there was a story that came out, and it was trends, and it had to do with the biggest winners and losers in real estate for 2021. And if you want to we can run through that. You haven't seen this yet,
no,
have
I
you?
haven't.
Yeah. So some of the biggest winners are saying Florida. Just that has to do with all the
more
people.
Than 300,000 moved to the state between April 2020 and April 2021. So that was the beginning of COVID.
Yeah, and I think anybody that listens to the Kiva knows, the background on that and COVID and people getting out of the Northeast and going to Florida.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
The other one that they say is a big winner for 2021 were the suburbs.
Right. People in multifamily and apartments and condos, they were like, I need to get away from all these people, right?
Yep.
Out of the congestion.
Yep. Another big one was baby boomers, and that has to do with just home price appreciation for homeowners in general has been extraordinary. So the wealth gained in the last year. I mean, there was a bunch of stats that just came out from CoreLogic this week about how much equity there is out there now in residential real estate, and it's an all-time record.
I haven't seen this story, but it's in front of me now. Average profit margin on a median priced home hits 100,000 plus, and then it says, "Okay, boomers, you win."
Okay, boomer.
Okay, boomers, you win.
Eddie, you can just say "Okay, boomer" to us anytime
house.
you want.
Yeah, that's us. Well, you're barely a boomer.
Can we say "Okay, Xer"? Is "Okay, Xer" a thing?
I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys are baby boomers, I guess. I don't even.
Well,
I am. Tego's really not.
I'm a young boomer. I'm a 64, so whatever that is.
Pay attention to the generational gaps and all this stuff, but it is interesting. The real estate story for 2021, probably the most successful year. And I told you guys just hang in there. Last year Tego was doing some things, and I said, Tego, just hang in there. We're going to be fine, and you have not a thing to worry about. And voila, look Tego. You were right, and I was wrong in that case. However, I got to say, you were wrong about what home prices were going to do, and I was right about that.
Well, and he thought we were going to have a flood of foreclosures. Remember, that's the money they keep printing. So as long as they keep printing that money, I know. Well, here's the in this story about winners and losers for 2021, the number one loser was the millennial generation, just because they're all coming into first-time home buying age, and prices have just gone up like crazy. So there you go. Yeah. Well, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Eddie.